Hey guys, we are back in the shop today, and before we actually get into today's video, we do have a sponsor for this video. It is Super Clean. If you do watch my videos, you know that I use Super Clean recently. That is one of their products is what I use to put in my mixture to clean vinyl siding on my home. I don't use a power washer or anything. I use bleach and this stuff. So I got a little care package from these guys to show off to you, and they make a few different items that are really good products. I've used a lot of these, some I haven't used, but everything that I've used from Super Clean I really like, and it works really well. I did get, and you can get a empty spray bottle that's got a sticker on here that has different levels of ratio to mix water and this stuff depending on what you're cleaning and how strong you need it to be, so that is pretty cool. And some of the stuff I didn't even know they had. You can get the aerosol cans of this stuff, and this is their regular cleaner degreaser that they're known for, but it's in a spray can like this. So if you're not going to use this a whole lot, this is probably the way to go with these, but that's really neat that they offer that. Then we have this big jar. This is something else that I didn't even know they offer. This is the absorbent. If you have a leak of any kind or a spill on the floor, you can get this thing open and dump it on there, and it's supposed to suck up all the wet, so you can just sweep it up. And this is kind of like sawdust, and this stuff works really well too. And some of this stuff I'll be using here at the shop, and some of this I'll keep at my house because I'll need some of this, but not all of it. So I'm probably going to keep a decent amount of the stuff here at the shop to use and in my garage at home. Then this is their regular liquid. That's the cleaner degreaser. This is what I got and put in that mixture to clean the siding. You can use this for a lot of different things depending on whatever you're doing, but this is the regular stuff that works really well, and you can use this to pour into this to get whatever mixture you want. And you can get these in a bunch of different sizes. You can get them in I think a gallon, 5-gallon buckets, 55-gallon drums, and the huge 250-gallon tank with the IBC tote thing with the cage around it. I think they offer that as well. If you're a shop like here and you're going to use this a lot, you can get a big container of it. This is the same thing as this, except it's foaming, as you can see here. So it's pretty much the same thing. As far as I know, this and this are identical other than this foam, so I can't really say whether this would be better or the other one, but I haven't used this one, but I do know the other one works really well in cleaning. And then the last thing is something that I'll be using a lot because I enjoy washing my cars. If you watch the channel, you know I've got a 2020 Chevrolet Silverado that I try to keep clean as much as possible. I do a lot of washing on it, and my other car, it's Traverse, I make a point of liking to wash my vehicles and keep them clean as much as possible. So I go through a lot of this, and this stuff works really well too, to get all of that road grime and grit off of your wheel and tire, especially if you've got chrome wheels. So this is another real good thing to have. Really recommend this stuff, and really recommend their regular degreaser, no matter if you get it in that or the foaming or the aerosol can. Either way you go with it, it's a good thing to have sitting around. And that, I think, is all of their stuff they offer. Like I said, you can get a lot of this stuff in a bunch of different quantities, or how many gallons you want. If you need a whole lot, they have varying different sizes that you can go with depending on how much you need. So that is Super Clean and all the stuff they offer. They are the sponsor for this video, so be sure to check those guys out at their website. Now let's move on to the video. What is up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Today is going to be a pretty fun video to do because we're actually in the shop I don't do a whole lot of videos of doing stuff back here, especially for work, because all of the work we do here is kind of classified information. I'm not allowed to talk about what it is, what it does, who it's for. Just about all the stuff we do back here is classified stuff. So I've been wanting to do vlogs. I've done a couple of vlogs, but none really here, because I can't really talk about a whole lot because it's all classified stuff. So I've been wanting to do a video of stuff back here, because any videos I've featured doing stuff in the shop or pictures on Instagram, most of you guys really like that content. So I've been wanting to do something else, but I don't have a huge variety of stuff that I can do a video on. So I came up with the idea to show off the recycling part of the steel that happens here. So I'm gonna talk about a little bit about each step in this process, show a little bit about each step, and then we'll move on to the next step. And so this is probably going to take more than a day. It's probably going to be a couple of days of filming and showing the whole entire process. So I'll be able to talk about what's going on, but not in too much detail about the parts that are featured in this video. Also, you won't be able to see any of the parts completely done in this video, obviously. So we're going to start off at the beginning and then work our way down to the very end of the recycling process and the steel here. So the first step is we get steel here. It's delivered on real big trucks. We have deliveries of a bunch of different material, bunch of different size material, and it all depends on the job that we are having to do. So for the purpose of this video, we're mainly going to be showing and talking about round stock, solid round chunks of steel that are usually in 20 to 24 foot long lengths of this, and we use 3 to 4 different diameters for parts that we usually work with to do repeat jobs for a certain company. So we'll be talking mostly about that because we do a lot about that. So that will probably be a lot featured in this video in the steel recycling process. So we get deliveries on big tractor trailer trucks come in here with this material, and we've got to take our fork truck and get the material off, and then it's got to be cut up to a length for whatever we're running to be able to go in a machine for whatever's got to be done to it. So we've got to get it off of the truck, then bring the pieces in here one at a time and put them on our saw to be cut. And I've got a little bit of footage about the cutting of the material, and then in different machines, like this machine right behind me, it's running right now. I'm going to show a little bit about what's going on in there. For this particular job that I'm running now, it's going to involve in unloading the material, bringing it in here, sitting it on this conveyor here, which ties into this saw. So I'll show a little bit of footage about what goes on there. But we have to use this fork truck and go outside and get a length of material that we get, pick it up with the fork truck and bring it in and sit it on the conveyor here. And then we've got to go in over here to the saw, and this is a computer, it's a CNC saw. So I've got to go in here and get the material on here, turn the saw on, get it how it needs to be, and then I will tell the saw how many pieces I want and how long they need to be. And I've got to set the height, set the feed the blade comes down, set the speed the blade spins, get all that stuff. And then I'll tell the computer how many and how long, and it'll do it for me. And it's really cool because when we do high quantity jobs of what we're running now, is I made that real heavy duty cart right there, and you can see there's a lot of pieces of material on there. I made that a specific height with wheels on it, real heavy duty caster wheels, so I can roll that table over here, sit it up at the saw, and it's like perfectly level right here. So the material can be cut, and it's got two different jaws on it, and it'll go back and grab it and pull it forward, and then this will come down, cut it, go back up, and then it'll go grab again and pull it. When it pulls it, it pushes your material out here, and it just slides right on my table. So that makes that really, really easy. So we're gonna show we're gonna show getting the material, bringing it in here, being cut, put it on the table, slid right onto the table. And so let's check that out before we go to the next step. Alright, so now we've got all of our material cut to how we need it, the proper lengths that I need it. So we've got a lot of material sitting here. Now they've got to be run in this big machine right here. This is the CNC lathe. And then see, there's one of the pieces of material in here. I can't show you really what's going on here, obviously, again. But there's some work being done to the parts here. They get face turned down, drilled, some other stuff like that. So when that happens, I'm cutting a lot of material off here. Chips fall down in there. Now that is actually a conveyor that I can control here with this switch. I'll run a part, and all the chips will fall down on the conveyor system, and then when it gets as many chips of steel that I want to let on that particular spot, I can turn the switch and make the conveyor run and move away to give it some more open space. And then as the conveyor runs, we have a bunch of these drums here, cut the tops out of, and you can't really see down in there. I'll show you another one. But I'll turn the conveyor on and move all the chips, and they'll go up the conveyor, dump down into these barrels. Here's two right here full of steel. So we'll come back to that in a second. I'm gonna go ahead and put another part in this lathe here, show a little bit about what it's doing. Talk a whole lot about it, but we're going to show that off. And then we have, for this particular part for this job, we've got to do some stuff here, and then we actually have to take them to another machine. So let's go ahead and do another one in here real quick, and then we'll move over to the next process. All right, so we're getting ready to start this up again. Just for your information, I do have a computer here because it's CNC. And I control everything here. It's got a specific program that it's running for what I'm doing now. We have tons of programs in here for tons of different jobs that we run in this lathe. But I can, when I run these parts, it runs through a program. I have to check a bunch of different dimensions on these parts. If anything's out of the tolerance it should be, I've got to go into the computer and tell it move up this much or move down this much in whatever direction or spot I need to adjust. So I went ahead and put a new one in here, and it's really cool. I really like this chuck here because there's no handle. It's all hydraulic controlled. So if I need to take it out, this hydraulic switch right here, I can turn it one way and the chuck will open up, pull the part out, put a new one in, hold it in there, and flip the switch the other way, and it'll go ahead and grab a hold of the part. So there's no loosening or anything like that. Really, really cool. So let's go ahead and start this up. We'll show a little bit about what's going on here. Alright, so that was a little sneak peek into something that's going, how these parts are being run in here. For this particular part, for this particular job, they get run in here, and then we have to take them over, run them in this lathe for another process that happens to them for this particular part. So they've got to go in the lathe over here, then we've got another setup that does another process to this part in this lathe here, and once they get done in there, then they're finally done. This also has a conveyor system. All of our CNCs here have conveyor systems except the Mori mill down there. That one doesn't have a conveyor system, but other than that, all of our CNC machines have conveyor systems to catch the chips, and we can tell the conveyor to move out and dump the chips in whatever we've got at each machine. Like most of the time we have these big drums at every machine, so they catch all of the chips. Most of them are the belt conveyor system, and it's just on a track, and it'll go up and just tip over and dump all the chips in there. We have two Haas machines, this mill here, and then the lathe over there that I just showed out, which is the second process in the part that we're actually running right now. Most are belt conveyor systems, but both of the Haas machines have, get down and show it in here. That is a auger conveyor system, and when I want the conveyor system to run, I just push a button here on the computer, and that auger would just sit and spin and pull the chips out of the chute and dump them down in a barrel or a bucket or whatever we've got over there for the chips of steel. Now, so we've gotten to the chips that we get off of the parts that we're actually making. All of them go in these barrels here. So once we get to this point, we've got a barrel tipper that we've got that actually is being used right now, so I can't really show you that, but it hooks to our fork truck, and we drive our fork truck up to it, and we actually attach it to the forks on the fork truck. And then what it will do is it's got a like half circle, and we'll just drive the fork truck up, get up against this, and then it's got a chain that we wrap around and get real tight, and we'll be able to pick this barrel up like that. Once we pick the barrel up, then we're going to take each one of these and go out here to that big scrap bin, and we'll take these barrels out here one at a time, drive over there, and it's got a crank on this tipper, and it'll take this big drum of steel, scrap steel, and just tip it over down in there. So that is most of our scrap material, is these chips here. And we do, however, have scrap like this, leftover pieces of material that's like too short to use, just left over from a link that we were cutting out, cutting pieces off of that we needed. That also we'll pick that barrel up when it gets full and dump that out to the scrap bin too. So I'll take you over to the scrap bin, and it's really cool. Once this thing gets filled completely up, we actually call a company that we work with that provides these big steel bins for the scrap material. They actually come out and pick this up, bring us a new one, and then we actually get paid whatever the price is at the time for the scrap material. So that is the whole process of how we recycle steel, and it's really cool. This part I can't actually show you because it's in other places other than here. I can talk about it though, where we get steel from a steel supplier, a mill. So they will melt the steel down and make different products from it, like this these big pieces of round stock that we get. So they have scrap material, they'll melt it down and make these bars, and then people like us get the bars, make parts out of them, and send them to whatever company needs them. So, excuse me. And in the process of making these parts, like I showed you, we have the steel chips and leftover pieces from the material that we can't use. So all that is scrap. It gets put in this big bin outside. Company comes and picks this bin up and then takes it back to the steel mill, and they melt that down and make more links of material that we have to buy. And then we bring it in here, make parts off of it. The scrap material left from that goes back in the bin, goes back there, gets melted down, completely recycling, reusing. It's really, really cool. Well, before we go outside and show all the steel in the bin, before they actually go out there, they've got a lot of oil still left in the chips, the leftover chips of steel. They actually get put in this guy, and this is funny, this is actually homemade. It's an old washer. So all this thing does is spin, and we'll take our chips, dump them down in here, and plug this up. I don't know if I'll be able to do this one hand. Yeah, I did it. See, and it'll spin and spin and spin until I unplug it. Trying not to electrocute myself. You see, there's a little bit of chips down in there. But they spin, and this thing has holes in here just like a regular washer, because it's all washer. In a washer, the water will go out of that and drain out. Here, oil will come out of it and drain out of the chips. So we'll put our chips down in here, spin it for a certain amount of time, get all the oil out. The oil will go through the holes in this round thing, come down here and actually fall down in this bucket, and then we can dump the bucket and reuse the oil. Take the chips out because they're dry now and put them back in a barrel we need to, and then they can be sent outside to dump in the bin. So that is the whole process. I'll walk out here and show you guys the bin, and I think it's almost pretty full. That we'll have to get them out here sometime soon to get us a new one. Oh, jeez. And this is it. Yeah, it's almost full. That is all of our scrap. So that is the recycling process of this deal here at my shop at Wiley Machine. I hope you guys really enjoyed this video. I like talking about stuff like this and featuring stuff in the shop, and a lot of, because I can't really show a whole lot of stuff here because, like I said, it's all classified information and stuff. But I hope you guys like this video. Be sure to let me know if you did down in the comments, and be sure to give me a thumbs up if you like the video, and be sure to get subscribed And that's it. I'll see you guys next time. See ya.